Meta, one of the platforms you may be watching this video on, was at the center of two verdicts in 2 days. Meta lost both. Both involved children, both involved Mark Zuckerberg, and both involved the phrase, "We respectfully disagree and will appeal," which is corporate speak for, "We totally did all of this, but we just don't want to pay any of you any money yet." And of course, Donald Trump responded exactly how we would expect, by rewarding Mark Zuckerberg and other shady tech bros with seats on a presidential advisory council in the same week. Because, of course, that's the world we live in right now. And now look, I'm fully aware of all the irony of telling you on this platform, asking you to subscribe to us on a platform that uses an engagement algorithm and a notification system to keep you watching more videos, which was a central theme in one of these lawsuits. The difference, and I actually mean this, is that our job and the job of independent media is to give you information that helps you think critically about the world, not to algorithmically serve you content designed to make you anxious and dependent. We're trying to make you a more informed citizen. They, Meta, Google, all of them, they're trying to take children and make them more accessible to predators and then lie about it. Those are different things. So yes, while I think you should totally quit all social media, you should still stay subscribed to ours. But here are some details of these cases, because they are important. On Tuesday, a New Mexico jury found Meta liable for $370 million for knowingly failing to protect children from predators on Instagram and Facebook. The New Mexico Attorney General ran an undercover operation. They made a 13-year-old girl's profile on Instagram completely fake, and she was, quote, simply inundated with images and targeted solicitations from child abusers. The jury found that Meta violated state consumer protection laws. They found that Meta made false or misleading statements about safety, and they found that Meta's practices were unconscionable. That last word's a legal term. It also happens to be a regular word that people like you and I use, so that's a plus. And then on Wednesday, because apparently one loss in a week is not enough, a Los Angeles jury found Meta and Google liable in a separate trial over social media addiction. In this case, it centered around a 20-year-old woman identified only by her initials KGM, who said that she became compulsively addicted to these platforms as a child, like so many children do, that the design was intentional, and it caused her depression and dark thoughts about self-harm. And the jury agreed with her. And they awarded $3 million in compensatory damages, 70% from Meta, 30% from Google. They're still going to decide the hopefully much larger punitive damages. But I want you to think about this. Meta is worth $1.4 trillion. Google, $2 trillion. $3 million in a lawsuit to them is what you or I would feel if someone stole our money for the parking meter. So I am hoping that the punitive damages come back much larger. And there is a comparison to big tobacco here, and that's not an accident. I work in the same building as some of the finest attorneys in the country, and I work with these attorneys daily, and they have been making that same comparison. Some of the great attorneys here are even involved heavily in these cases against Meta and Google, and they see it. Big tobacco knew that cigarettes caused cancer, and they lied about it. Meta and Google knew that their algorithms were harming children and lied about it. And the entire story comes from their own internal documents. But frankly, these verdicts, they matter not just for the dollar amounts, but for what they establish. This was the first time that juries decided that tech companies are liable for addicting children. And there's approximately 2,000 pending lawsuits waiting on this outcome. School districts, parents, state attorneys general, all still pending. And that sort of pressure can bring about real change. We saw it in the opioid lawsuits. We've seen it in the big tobacco lawsuits. And this is change that government will not bring about on their own because of lobbyists and campaign donations. Case in point, while these verdicts were rolling in, two things happened simultaneously on Wednesday. First, Trump announced that Zuckerberg and Google's Sergey Brin would join his new Presidential Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. It's not a punishment, not a consequence, a reward, a seat at a government advisory table. Because in this administration, getting caught harming children and being horrible for society as a whole earns you a White House role. And it's right alongside Larry Ellison and a bunch of other Trump's creepy tech pals. And second, and this is where you kind of have to respect the PR game that Meta has going on, Zuckerberg simultaneously announced Meta Small Business. It's a shiny new company-wide initiative to support entrepreneurship and drive AI adoption for small businesses. Because nothing says we care about the little guy like launching a press-friendly everyman initiative the same day that a jury finds that you harmed children and the president hands you a federal advisory role. Sickening. The timing wasn't a coincidence. When you lose a big case, you quickly change the subject. You announce something that sounds like you're helping people. You flood the press release wire. And if you have a friend in the White House handing you a counsel seat on the same day, well, that doesn't hurt either. And like I mentioned before, I work with a bunch of great attorneys. Levin Papantonio is the firm I work with in this same building, and they are a part of this case. And I hope to be able to share a lot more of what they uncovered during this litigation, because what they found out about Meta and Google and what Meta knew and when they knew it is genuinely despicable. More to come on that. So do me a favor, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, every time we do a story on this, you get notified. But also, maybe think about how long you're spending on Instagram or YouTube today. The jury, they agreed. It's probably too much.